Yep.
From ceiling.
Yeah, it's already.
My head, that's my work is frustrating.
Barely caught it.
That's what he's saying. I realized that.
All right. How's everyone doing today? Very good. Come on, we can do better than that. How's everyone doing today? Thank you very much. Second week of our team meeting for the month of August. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we do so, let me say I got this. All right, who wants to help me with our mission? Yes. Thank you so much. Let's do this. Standing up. Yes. All right. Let's. Yes, you got this.
Our mission to provide agents with a place where they will be empowered, trained, and motivated to experience growth, wealth, and a legacy that allows them to live their best life possible.
Keep going. All believe.
When the values of your company align with your own beliefs, you know you've found your professional home.
Our vision.
To achieve amazing professional and personal developments, that KWSB remains the agency of choice.
All right, yeah, next slide, please. All right. You want it?
I actually put out I didn't realize I was gonna be first up.
All right, let's give Steve Collins a round of applause.
I guess so. Only because I do have a commitment afterward. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, I'm actually being deposed as an expert witness on a real estate case, and so that starts at 1 o'clock. And so it's one of which I asked to be moved up. But I'm here in the capacity of a contract trainer. Okay. How many of you know how to drive a car? Okay. Everybody?
Well, it depends on what type of car.
All right.
It depends. If you have a Tesla.
All right. How many of you are confident when you're driving when you drive a car?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. All right. If someone were to ask you, okay, if you were talking to a brand new driver who's never saw anyone drive a car before, and they do not know how to drive, and you had to describe it to them or explain to them what the initial process of what you have to do when you get into, let's say, a brand new rental car that you've never driven before. Who could actually, step by step, okay, it's not a quiz, I'm not gonna point fingers, okay, of what each and every step would be, of what it would take to start driving a rental car. You go in, you adjust your seats, you adjust your mirrors, okay, you put your seatbelt on, you take the key, okay. How many of you could do that in your sleep? How many do it in your sleep, not even think about it today? Okay. Now, if I were to ask you, how many of you could explain the real estate contract to the same degree of confidence that you can explain how you go in and drive a car? How many hands would raise? With confidence. Okay. Let's see the hands that don't have the same level of confidence. Let's see how many hands are being raised here. Okay. The contract in real estate is our vehicle. That is the document that is used that puts a buyer together with a seller. And they use us to be able to do that. And so I am passionate about the real estate contract and us agents learning the real estate contract. So as many of you know, every Wednesday evening, I have a 1-hour session of contract Q&A where you're able to join via Zoom and ask any questions that you want. Now, I will tell you in that 1 hour, okay, You will learn. Okay, ask Patricia, she's been on my call almost every week. All right, but you won't learn everything in 1 hour at a time. So I'm here to be able to let you know. I now have finally got my approval from the Department of Real Estate of being able to offer my course. Okay, called Learn the Top 100 Questions Agents Need to Know About the Real Estate Contract and Transaction. It's a 2-day, 4-hour-a-day course. Okay, that I now have a date that's scheduled for October 2nd and October 3rd. That's right, just pass a flyer out, okay? I'm also offering a 1-day course, a half day, which I really hope you don't take. Financially, I'm giving it as, I'm just as a disincentive. Okay, you will see when you look at the prices. Okay, it makes more sense to do the 2-day. And on top of the 2-day course, you also end up getting 8 hours of continuing education credit. All right, now I'm going to tell you, I don't want you to take the course because it gives you 8 hours of continuing education credit. All right, there's easier, cheaper, faster way of being able to get 8 hours of DRE credit. I want you to be able to do it so you get to a level of knowledge, okay, where you start to build that confidence. Because it's this lack of confidence, I can promise you, and I'm not going to ask for a raise of hands, that is preventing you guys from being able to have dialogue and conversations with your clients. You are scared about the questions they are going to ask you. And as a result, you are hiding behind your phones and texting only and emailing only, and you guys are absolutely frowning upon having live conversations because you don't have the confidence. Imagine flipping that switch and you have the confidence and you're on that phone and you're inviting the questions for them to be able to ask you, and you now have the confidence to answer. You're going to know all the answers? Absolutely not. Our clients don't expect us to know all the answers, but you're going to know more than you've done, and you're going to be able to know where to find out the answers that you don't. Confidence is the killer in this business. Contracts is the key of what makes our sales. It's the most boringest thing in the world. Okay, and most of us in this industry hate contracts. Okay, but it is what allows us to be able to get paid in this industry. Without an accepted offer, okay, we don't get paid. And even more importantly, now, I can attest to this, a well-drafted contract, a well-drafted negotiated contract, whether you're a buyer, a listing agent, or a buyer's agent, also prevents problems after the close of escrow. And it's the problems after the close of escrow, when they arise, they many, many times become very big, costly problems. All right, so it's not just being able to write up an offer and closing an escrow. It's being able to write up an offer, close up an escrow, and have you and your clients protected, that you don't have to worry about looking over your shoulder for years to come. All right, so want to be able to just have you guys know about the seminar, the 2-day course in October. You're going to be hearing about it more. Love to be able to see everybody on the call, whether it be tonight or every Wednesday from 7 to 8. Questions? I thank you very much. Oh, yes. Actually, I talk about the parties. I talk about it in legal terms. Okay, who the offeror is, who the offeree is. All right. And because it depends on who we talk about dealing with how an offer is accepted. All right, this business is very, very interesting, especially since I'm going to a real quick. One of the court on this case I'm going to be testifying on. This is a conservatorship. There was an offer that was accepted. This is a broker on the listing side who has I think he's been in the business over 40 years. There's an offer that was accepted, counter offer was accepted. And there was no addendum for dealing with a probate addendum form that was required because all conservatorships require court confirmation. And here we have a situation where the seller has accepted an offer where by statute, court confirmation is required. But now dealing with the documentation signed by buyer and seller doesn't talk about court confirmation. And what happens with court confirmations? There's also potential for overbid. Just like a probate. Works the same way. Probate conservatorship, probates that require court confirmation. What we don't know could cost our clients and then cost us. Knowledge is power. With that, have a great afternoon. Thank you.
I like what he was saying about the skill levels of writing. Put it into more perspective, it's like trying to parallel park. Who's really good at?
I'm not going to use that example, but I figured I had a 50-50 on this.
How confident are you at parallel parking, especially if it's a very tight, parking? So I want to use that as an example because driving, yes, parallel is kind of like more, in my opinion, the purchase agreement. But just to touch on what Steve was saying, the importance and understanding. We don't practice legal, right? But what we do is guide our clients best in our abilities. But understanding the level of confidence to have a conversation with your clients, the ins and outs of the purchase agreement, because that's the most vital part of our real estate. That's what brings us the commission. So again, thank you so much, Steve. Good information. All right, let's continue next. Oh, never mind. She's waiting for punch. Let's get Fred Howard up here. Let's go around about
Life changes every single day. Now, all of us, or some of us, participated yesterday in something called the Powerball, right? Somebody put some money down for that Powerball, expecting to win, right? Expecting to win. Now, let me ask you a question. If I pulled out of my pocket, because I had something else planned, Rosie, I was gonna say something else, but life happened and I saw something on TikTok that I had to share. Now, if I pulled out of my pocket $10 million and I said, I'm going to give it to you, what would you say?
Thank you.
You would see, right? I would have said, I don't know how you can fit 10 million in your pocket.
Right, okay. So if I were to go check, if I were to give it to you, you would say, thank you, you would be grateful, right? Now, what if I were to give you 20 million? Say that, right? But it came with one condition. And that one condition is you won't wake up tomorrow. So who would still take the 10 million?
You mean 20, you said 20.
20 million.
See, I think the 10 million is give the 20.
Would anybody take it?
No, I think the 10 million.
So what you're saying in essence is. So what you're saying is. Where this is going. So what you're saying is waking up is more important than money,
Yes,
right?
my life is more important than that.
Your life is more important than money. Then why don't you do something with your life in your real estate career?
That's why
If you wake up every morning, the money will come. Just don't look at the money because your life is more important and make your life more important to those that are around you. And that's my word for you.
I gotta go Yes, the right. There's a movie that came out in the mid-80s. Richard Pryor came out in this movie, and it was called Brewster's Millions. Brewster's Millions. And it talks about how, I don't want to spoil it, but you gotta watch the original, because I think they did a remake of it. Watch the original with Richard Pryor. Talks about how he inherits 30 million. And he has 30 days to spend 30 millions.
Wow.
Yeah.
A million a day.
But the outcome is that if he can spend 30 million in 30 days, then he will reap the benefits of 300 million. But he cannot tell anyone why he's spending the money. He just got to go and spend the money. And everyone is telling them, you gotta invest in this, you gotta invest in real estate, you gotta invest in this, everything, right? But he can't, he cannot have any return from that $30 million.
Well, you can even buy a house.
No, because that's an asset.
Exactly.
He has to spend it, so he's giving security guards $100,000. Hotels, for the entire, like, 500 people to stay there, all food and all. Yeah. This is what,
This is in the 80s too, you know, 30 million. Right.
that's right, that's right. Yeah, but it's called Brewster's Million, Richard Pryor. Highly recommend it, it's hilarious, but it has a lot of ins and outs of, thinking big. So, awesome, all right, well, Fred, thank you very much, very inspirational. All right, next slide. All right, right to follow up. Carlo Horton. Right?
It is absolutely important. How many of you have done open houses before? Yeah, awesome, awesome. Who likes doing open houses? Absolutely, love it. Natalie, can you pull up my slideshow, please? So we're gonna go over just a couple tips and tricks when doing open houses, how to make them a little bit more purposeful when you're going out and when you're approaching it. Cool. There we go. Unlocking open houses, the art of maximizing your open house potential. Cool. Next slide, please.
I like the colors.
Thank you. I designed it on here.
Yeah.
I love it. It's something about it just makes it a little more jazzy, yeah?
It does. It helps. Okay.
Awesome. All right, so first up, we want to remove limiting beliefs around open houses. So some of the limiting beliefs are, I don't have yard signs, I don't have a listing, open houses don't work. I may not know the answers to questions. How many of you have felt like you're not gonna know the answer to questions that clients may ask you for? Yeah, I've been there, absolutely, definitely as a new agent, experiencing imposter syndrome, that relates to that, going in there feeling like.
I did a whole 4-step on overcoming imposter syndrome. So.
Yes, going into it like, please don't ask me how the market is, we don't want to answer that question. And so how do we overcome that, right? So we don't have yard signs. Reach out to the listing agent. More often than not, they'll be willing to let you utilize the sign, especially if you're hosting their house open, right? Asking your market center and asking other agents in the office, whether it is the ALC members, other top producing agents, we can get you signs to use for your open house. I don't have a listing. Search the MLS for new listings. I had a new listing go live in person, and I can't tell you how many people reached out to host an open house for me. And none of them are self-pay agents. So reach out to listings that go on the market. Also, reach out to other agents in the office. We're doing tons of business here, right, guys? So reach out to the agents here in your local market center.
I don't think area agents.
I'm sorry.
I don't think area agents.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great one. Out of area agents that don't necessarily work in our market, but have a listing, reach out to them and see if you can host their open house. Open houses don't work. Knowing your purpose when you're going into it. What's your goal? What's the goal that you have when you're going to the open house? We're going to go over that in a minute. Be a resource for the people. Everybody that walks in, you should be the expert of that purpose, right? And then build relationships. That's what you're looking to do when you're hosting a house. You're building relationships. I may not know the answers. Prepare your comps. Know the market, know the neighborhood, know the area. Because you know who's going to know the neighborhood, who's going to know what house just sold? All the people that walk through your open house. The neighbors will come and they will tell you, hey, well, this house over here just sold for X amount. And you're like, oh, I didn't know that. Want to be the expert, right? Awesome. Next slide. Oh, and then last thing, it's okay not to know. It's okay to not have an answer. Not okay, it's not going to look for an answer. So if somebody asks you a question, this is my script, always. You ask me a question, I say, oh, you know what, that's a great question. Let me do some research and I'll get right back to you. And then follow up with it. Now. All right, next slide. Benefits of an open house. So, open house has an opportunity, it's a great legion method, has a high ROI, so high return on investment. You don't have to spend a ton of money to do an open house. Literally, go out there with your signs, a sign-in sheet, and your personality. That's it. So, max amount of leads, it's very inexpensive, and you can make a huge impact if you do a proper open house. We'll go through the steps of hosting an open house as well. Qualifying leads, you're basically doing, and when I switched my mindset with this, and when it really changed about for my business, is that you're literally doing on the spot buyer's consultation with everybody that walks in, right? You're qualifying them right then and there. It's also a great tip to have a lender there. Pair up with the lender that considers open house. Number one, it gives them another layer of follow-up, so you're not the only one following up with them. And number two, when you're having a really busy open house, you're able to toss them over to the lender, so the lender's entertaining them, you're greeting the next group of customers or group of clients that walk in. Cool. And then a prospecting tool, leads. You're able to door knock the neighborhood, you're posting open house in the meantime, people you can circle prospecting, if you have any dialing services. So it's a great lead generation method. Cool. Next slide, please. Best practices. So set a goal, pick the house, prepare and practice, pick the time for the open house, prepare stats, and above all, be safe. And we're going to dive into all of this really quickly. Next slide, please. Absolutely.
Especially like.
To be safe
Be
first.
safe.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what does it look like to host an open house? It is not just a one-day thing. You are preparing for the open house when you're doing it properly and purposely. You're preparing for it all week. So Monday, you're selecting the open house. When I was doing it in production, I was very picky about the open house that I would do. I was looking at main streets. I was looking at events that were going on in the area, where I can draw traffic from, where I'm going to be placing my signage, how I'm going to be able to maximize the traffic, how many signs I needed. So be perfect for when you're doing an open house. Yeah? Tuesday. Oh, I got messed up. There's a Y there. And we're calling it Y. I promise to know how to say that. It's good.
That wasn't a song.
That's, I know, that's like one of my presentation, right?
All part of the presentation.
One of my biggest is presenting and like spelling things on it. So, there we go. So Tuesday, we're posting online, we're advertising the open house, we're walking the neighborhood, getting to know the area, getting to know the market. And we're inviting the neighbors for a showing. Hey, I have this open house going on Saturday. You're a neighbor, I would love to offer an exclusive showing for you before we go on to open house. Great way to meet people, make them feel special, and a great way to get into a relationship, right? Wednesday, we're posting online again. And then we can also install a yard sign. Has anybody done that before? Installing an open house Saturday, 1 to whenever. Why not? It's a great way to pre-advertise, right? Of course, clear with the client and the listing agent, but a great way to pre-advertise the open house. Thursday, we're posting online again. Notice the pattern here. We are consistently posting online. You want to treat it like a birthday party. You want to invite everyone to this party, right? We're going to have music. We're going to have food. Maybe we'll have a raffle. Maybe we'll have a little spinning wheel thing. We're going to do mingling. We want it to be an event. So Thursday, posting online again. We're inviting our database, sending out a mass email to your entire database. Anybody that lives in the area, any buyers, inviting them to come by and see the open house. And circle prospect. If you have the dialing to reserve, you get with your title rep and are able to pull the phone numbers for that specific area. Call and alert the neighbors. Let them know, hey, I'm going to be hosting an open house. It's going to be a huge influx of traffic in the area on Saturday from 11 to 3. Just want to give you a heads up. You're more than welcome to come. Would love for you to stop by. Let me know what you think of the price. You're an expert in this neighborhood. I would love to pick your drink. And then Friday, we're going to post online once again. We're going to prepare our market stats, print out flyers, and then we can also door knock the neighborhood. Cool. Last slide, Natalie, or is that the last? That's the last slide. So, yes, was that helpful a little bit for you guys? Yes.
Safety is always Make sure that, I don't do open house by myself.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
somebody else, especially when they have like level. And so always have somebody else, you know.
That's
100%.
and your
Can we-
basic.
And we touch on safety because it's something that I have a passion for is safety, especially for the women. Obviously, you want to tell anyone, family members, agents, hey, I'm gonna be hosting an open house at so and so. You may want to have some type of alert, right? You can't just pick up the phone and say, hey, there's something going on, but maybe like a 1 or a 2 text or something like that that says, okay, this is an emergency, right? Because you just never know. And we've had in the past scenarios, not in the office, but situations with local agents that have been in a position where it's compromising, right? But always letting someone else know. Also, the other cool thing about open houses is the mere fact you can tag team and work with someone else. You take the top, I'll take the bottom. You know, we facilitate it and we tag team it as well, right? Especially if you have an open house that's fresh, new listing, right? And you get tons of people, you cannot control when there's a lot of people coming in, you know, you lose it. So that's why you want to have a backup, you know, if that means second or even possibly even a third agent there, right? But obviously strategize on what that looks like, right? You're the lead. You have the support there as well, right? And always know your surroundings, right? What are the exits of this house, right? If you need, nothing is worth you, right? At the very end. Find that exit. So never put yourself in a situation that you have your back while you're going into a bedroom, right? Find that exit. If it's the back door, side, or the front door, or if you need to break a window, get out, whatever it takes, right at the very end. But knowing your exits is vital and very important, right? I like what you said too. Carry some type of, you know, safety feature such as a pepper spray, right? That'll definitely help. The one being in a corner, right? Where now you don't have a way to get out.
Right.
Just in case, again, just being proactive. It doesn't happen, but again, I just want you to kind of have that in the back of your mind. Yes.
What happens if, so I've heard somebody in the news like a while back, that like, you know, like someone's coming in with a gun or a weapon, you know, and a real estate agent is there by themselves. What can a person do if they're seeing that there's someone that has a weapon?
Well, remember, in that situation and scenario, you're gonna just give everything. I have family, I have children, you know, and then start thinking of how you can get out. But ultimately, you know, if someone is pointing a gun, I don't want you to go kung fu on this person, right? That is not the best approach, right? Only if you're a professional and you know what you're doing. But in this case, give everything. Look, take whatever you want. Okay, I have a family, I have children, you know, whatever you need to do. You know, again, lives are more important than the house and, you know, material stuff. Now, with that being said, also educate the clients, right? The sellers, right? If they have personal jewelry or something very expensive, make sure to tell them, hey, you make sure that all jewelry, watches, anything of value or very expensive. that you put away.
Yes.
Medication.
And medication too. Yeah. Medication is on the higher price too as well.
I'm gonna say something, I think it's really cool. Did you guys enjoy a safety class?
Yes.
On, so you guys are right? So we can-
Yes.
Yeah.
let's do something like that, come together.
That would be amazing. 'Cause
Absolutely.
that's my number one concern of open houses.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, we can definitely get something like that together and be on the schedule. I'll also be having another open house class next week. So.
Any other questions regarding safety? Before you step out, no, you're staying here still. I want to role play with you, if it's okay. You're gonna be the agent, I'm gonna be the consumer, right? And
Okay.
basically, you're hosting an open house, you know, go through that element and what you would do when hosting an open house. So you ready?
So like, it's just like a regular house, not like a.
Yeah.
Dangerous one? or
No.
anything?
I promise. I couldn't be that type of- The element of surprise, right? No, this is educational purpose. Just because we're talking about open house, and I think it's a great segue to really just kind of see in action what Carlos would do. Obviously, I would do something different or exact. Everyone that does open houses would do it differently, but I just want to get your perspective and just kind of go right. We're not going to go deep into it, but just kind of the basics what that looks like, because every person that comes into that open house is an opportunity. And the question is, are you asking the right questions, right? The questions that will embed, are they motivated to buy, sell, and invest, right? But if we're just letting them go in there, giving them a flyer, they go to the property and they leave, that's not an effective open house, in my opinion. But if you stop, meet and greet, eye contact, smile, and then provide them with a very small little presentation, thanking them for coming into your open house, right? You'll build that rapport, because people do business when people what trust you and like you, right? And that's an opportunity to sell yourself. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Ready, Carlos? Well, this doesn't work.
And wait, I usually have my doors open.
Oh.
Welcome in, and how's it going? My name is Carlos.
Carlos, pleasure to meet you, Simon. How are you?
Nice to meet you, Simon, welcome to 1223 Main Street.
Awesome, thank you.
As I said, my name is Carlos Horton, so this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house.
Okay.
We're sitting at about 2,100 square feet. We'd love to show you around. Would you mind signing in for me really quickly?
Absolutely, but I am working with an agent. Is that okay?
Absolutely, that's totally
Okay.
fine. What are you trying to work with?
Working with KWSB.
I'm very familiar with Keller Williams, absolutely love the guys over there. Simon is the team leader over there, he's amazing. Thanks so much for signing in. So real quick, Simon, if you don't mind, I'd love to show you this
Sure.
feature. This is something that is super custom to this house.
Okay.
The seller actually had this entire gazebo just redone. They had it refinished. It's great quality wood. It's absolutely amazing. So
Love
make
that.
sure I wanted to highlight that for you.
Beautiful. And what was the price again, Carlos?
So right now we're listed at 1.4 million.
Okay. How motivated is the seller?
The seller is very motivated. They are moving out of state, so they're definitely looking to get something tied up pretty quickly. Have you been in the market for a while?
Well, yes, I've been for the last maybe 2 months kind of
Okay.
looking, but I love this neighborhood. And when I saw this open house, I thought I gotta go see this home.
Absolutely, yeah, this neighborhood is definitely top tier. What I would love to do is, we've already taken a tour of the house. What would you rate the house on a scale of, 1 to 10? With
I
one-
love it. It hits all the bells and whistles. I mean, it has the amenities that I've been looking for. Price, I don't know. It's a little over my budget,
Okay.
but so it's a little over my budget, but I gotta talk to the wife and see if we can make it work. We'll find a way, but is there any room for negotiation on the price?
Well, I like to say everything is negotiable. You know what, Simon, I actually went ahead and pulled a couple other properties in this neighborhood that you can take a look at. Are range from the different price points, a little bit different in size and square footage. This one over here, right across the street,
Yeah.
has a similar bedroom size, a little bit lower, and the price point might be something you might be interested in. If you like, I can go ahead and open the door for you and you can take a look.
That's awesome. Man, I like your approach.
Thank
I
you.
like how you handle the conversation. So how long have you been in real estate? If you don't mind me asking.
Absolutely. I have been in longer than some, and not as long as most. I actually got my license about 6 years ago.
Awesome,
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. You know what? I like you. I don't have an agent.
Oh,
But, Disgusting you because I've gone to so many open houses and I just, I just want to have my space, but you know what? I like your vibe, I like your energy and you're very efficient and I love the home.
awesome. I would definitely love to help you out with your home buying process.
Beautiful. The problem is I have to sell my house in order to buy this. Will you be able to help me list my house?
I can definitely do that.
I wish we had.
All right, let's get Carlos around. All right, there you go, right? Is that hard? That's good, right? Simple. Again, it's building the confidence skill level, right? And the more open houses you do, right, Bob? The better you get at it, that's, talk to Bob and picking up the phone, people have fear of picking up the phone. Talk to Bob, he'll take the fear away from you.
No, I won't. I'll still be afraid, but. Subscription you can use.
Gotcha. All right, Well, let's follow up with Chris Rivera with Cross Country Mortgage. Okay. Hello. I almost forgot what company I work for. I was actually looking for it. It's like. Steve say Countrywide, so. Countrywide. So I'm gonna start really bad, but I will end good, I promise. So fortunately, we have to talk about rates, right? Rates are hovering anywhere from 6.875 to 7.25, depending on FICO score, loan amounts, loan program, and that sort of thing, right? But they are inching up. And to add to that, they're gonna continue to inch up. The information that's been out this month is for inflation, really positive, which is good. Problem is the Fed's meet on the 3rd week of September. So we're gonna have 2 reports come out, one this coming week, then we're gonna have one in about the 2nd week of September. Unfortunately, the data will take it off from September or really August of 22, and putting in August 23. We're actually going to see a rise. So we may see inflation numbers go up on that September reading. But this is kind of a hiccup. But unfortunately, some of the feds have come out and said, well, maybe we need to increase rates one more time. One guy said possibly twice. Now, the probability at this point that's probably below 50, but as it gains speed, as we get into September, we may see another price increase. So just keep that kind of in the back of your head, because when you talk to your clients, let them know the pressures in the market for rates continue to go up. But I will say this, even with the rates elevated at the levels they are today, it's crazy how many buyers are still out there looking to buy. We have a lot of inventory, and you guys know this, that you're still seeing multiple offers. So rate really isn't the catalyst to get someone into buying a home, right? You just have to educate them about the go forward. Because it's really not a matter of if, it's a matter of when will rates come down. And as long as you can kind of convey that to them, and let them see that people do buy rate or homes with rates in the 7s. But then they refi later on with a rate at 5, 4, or below, right? And so some of the conversations I'm having now with my clients, and I'm letting them know what the payment is at 7%. I'm showing them what the payment is going to be at 5 and 4.5%. So I'm already planting the seed of like, hey, yes, you're going to have the wind of the storm. You will have to take out a higher rate, a higher monthly payment, but the overall effect is rates will be coming down, and then I explain why. And I show them what it's going to look like at 5 and 4.5%, so they can kind of grasp that. They're going to have to put the cart before the horse, get into something so that they can refi down the road. Okay, so that's the worst of the market, unfortunately. I don't anticipate them going too much higher than where they are today, but we are at elevated levels, hitting 7%. So with that said, I wanted to kind of go back old school. I know we got a lot of new faces. A couple of people asked me to put some classes, some training classes together. So I'm going to do one later this month. It's on the calendar already. August 24th, we're going to do a mortgage 101, just kind of the basics. We'll also have some information there just about what kind of questions you can ask the buyers when you're at open houses, just to kind of validate, quantify it, really. So you can just ask maybe 10 questions to qualify a client and know if it's a waste of your time or not, right? And then you can kind of decide if it's A, B, or C lead for yourself. But that'll be there in 2 weeks, coming Thursday at 11:30 here. We'll be a lunch and learn. Don't know what lunch is yet, but I'm going to feed you twice, once with knowledge, and the second time is something. Probably not pizza. But all right. Also, I put on the calendar already, first time home buyer seminar.
Please.
Yes, October 14th, Saturday, 10:30. It's gonna be on the calendar, so I'm gonna do a training for you guys, probably the last week of September, just so you guys can get kind of reacclimated of what the down payment assistance programs are. Yes, everyone knows about KWSB, but there's another one that's kind of surfacing. They changed their parameters. It's the Golden State Finance Authority. It allows them to add a co-signer to help them qualify. That's a huge thing. It also allows us to use FHA and DU approval. So that means the DTI can go up over 50. We can do up to 57% on FHA with the cosigner. So that's Golden State Finance Authority. I'm going to roll that one out as well. So the training in September will be about that and KWSB. Again, just preparing you guys for the first home buyer seminar. on October 14th. Because I think that'll be this 2-week ramp up for you guys to do your marketing. This is really about you. I'm gonna get up here and talk. And I'll speak to them about the different programs, but it's you guys, your ability to get people in the seats. And if, show of hands, I mean, a lot of you have, how many people have been to the last seminars? We get a lot of people there. I mean, one time I think we had over 80 people, it's crazy. And I think the last one we had about 60 people. So they're really powerful. It's an event when the people come in, we've got food form, we've got registration form, we've got everything dialed in. So it's like they are at a good event. So it's gonna be, that training will be about 2 weeks before the event. And last thing we'll leave on this, Tammy and Christina of the culture committee kind of hit me up and asked me if I could do this for the office with kind of a show of hands. I don't know who's into this. Doesn't have to be you, it can be a spouse or anyone, family member. We want to do a fantasy football league for the entire office.
What?
Fantasy football league.
Oh,
If you've never done it before, it's a way for you guys to kind of get into it. It's not given out, we're not gonna have with all the guys that actually do fantasy football, I do that on the side. But it's just gonna be a fun thing for the office, we're gonna have hopefully 20 people, we'll have 2 leagues of 10. So you guys can really kind of banter with each other throughout the entire football season. And be a little bit more representative of your team, whatever team that is, meets the Raiders. We'll play the playoffs this year. But anyway, just show of hands, is anyone interested in this?
sure. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got to, all right, so I'm gonna send out an email blast to the entire office. My goal is to try to get 20 people in, so we can have 2 leagues of 10, and you guys will play against each other, and you're gonna be all novices, so it's not like you're going up against guys that really know what they're doing. Like, I think I do, but I don't. Anyway, so that's it. Any questions?
A quick question, for someone like us, like we're just coming in, we're new into the whole real estate thing, are we gonna be able to get trained in the seminar on what the mortgage looks like, how we're gonna explain that to the clients? Because I don't even know how we're gonna explain it, I don't know anything about it. Right,
Good question.
so.
Yes, absolutely. Everything she just asked is exactly what you'll be getting at the end of September. For those of you who've been in my training, it's more of an educational base. So I'm gonna give you a packet so you know exactly what to ask of the clients, but you're gonna know the program. Ins and outs, not all of it, that's my job, right? But at least you have the basics that you can have a conversation when you're meeting people, maybe at open houses,
Right,
right? When you guys are out there talking to your sphere, you'll have at least 5 or 6 things in your head, you can tell them about the program. The down payment assistance, what FICO score, you know, all that stuff. So, yes.
Can I just add to it? So just like I did with Carlos, I also want to do this with Chris, you know, just a basic for a lot of us that do not know. Let's say that you're in an open house and someone is interested in purchasing, but they do not know what the process is. What should an agent be asking for? So I'm going to be sending you a client. What are some of the basics that we need to be asking a consumer before spearheading it to you? Like, you know, employment wise, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, part of what you did with the banter with Carlos is good. I think when you expand upon talking to the buyer, first, you're gonna want to see, and you can ask them really good. So what do you do for a living? Right? That's just an easy question. And as they expand, oh, well, I'm an engineer at Northrop, right? Now you can talk about that. Oh, that's great. How long have you been there? Oh, 20 years. Well, that's great. You must be like, you know, manager at this point. So now you're starting to get more information about their employment. You now know they're employed, right? I wouldn't probably ask them their income, at
yeah,
least not at that level, right? Just know maybe what position they're in, so they can already kind of level them.
Well, if they're a plastic surgeon, you're gonna already know, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you know, if they tell you, oh, well, I just started 2 months ago with Uber. Okay,
Yeah.
now that's another thing of like, well, is that gonna be an A, B, or C client? They just started 2 months ago with Uber, they don't have 2-year track history.
Nothing
it's
to hear.
self-employed. Right, but it doesn't mean this, right, you're still gonna take their information, but so you were able to find out about their employment. Now, after that, you're like, oh, okay, well, when was the last time you ran your credit report? You know what your FICO score is? And they should know, because a lot of times they're getting that information on their cell phones or their bank, whenever they log into the bank, they're gonna tell you what the FICO score is. So now you know that they're employed, know that they have good credit, right? I wouldn't go so much in depth in their credit, leave
that to me, but now you know you've got someone who's got a job. That's got good credit. And the last thing is just like, so how long have you been looking for a home? Oh, about 6 months. Okay, so you guys are ready, but how much money do you have saved for down payment at this point? Right? So now you've asked them about the assets. So the three things we really want to know is income, credit, and assets. So those are three basic things you can ask really quick and just conversational. Get your own skill down, but those should be just simple conversations just to elicit from them if they're a qualified buyer. Then at that point, that's when you say, hey, I know a really good mortgage banker here in the South Bay who's been doing this for decades. I want to put you in contact with my guy. His name is Chris Rivera over at Cross Country Mortgage. Now, if they tell you I already have some, this is what I tell them. This is what you can tell them. You know, I understand that you already have a relationship with another lender, but I can assure you one or two things from Chris. You're either going to get the best terms in rate from Chris, or he's going to assure that you're getting the best rate and terms from your current lender. Wouldn't that be worth a 10-minute conversation with Chris? Everyone's going to say yes, because competition breeds best pricing, right? So if you pitch it that way, you keep your team together. But that's it. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. Let's give Chris Rivera one. Good segue. Okay, next slide. I think it's broker updates. Wanted to talk to you about the ranking of our office and just kind of give you a perspective of where we're at. I'm going to talk about individual agents, top 5 individual agents, and then our top 5 teams as well. And the reason I want to share this with you is to just give you a perspective of what that looks like, because agents that say, well, there's not enough inventory, there's not enough buyers or sellers out there. Well, putting this here, obviously the agents are doing activities that are leading to these opportunities that are closing the deals and ultimately the production that it shows in our office. Okay, this is from year to date, January to now, right? So actually I take that back from January to July stuff production. We don't have August yet because we're still in the training of it. So I want to start off with the teams. So ranking again, top 5 of our teams. Okay, you guys ready? All right. So we'll start off. Okay, so starting number 5 is the Threshold Real Estate Group. Okay, 14,662,800. That's the 5th top of our agents. Number 4 is Gary Nick's team. They're at 16,397,000. Ranking in number 3 is institutional, thank you, Amani. Institutional Asset Advisory. They're at 26,871,000. Okay. Ranking number 2 is the Hoffman Murphy team at 34,555 million.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, no.
And our number 1 team, and this is all going to change, folks, okay? This is on a monthly basis. Right now, the number 1 team is the DY Corporation at 35,455,000. David Ashar and the team, the American team. So let's give them a round of applause. All right, so now we're going to go individual, right? I think the competitiveness that we have as individual professional agents, really we want to strive to that caliber, right? So, all right, so I'm going to start right now. At number 5 is individual. Okay, this is just individual agent per se. Is
Gary Nix at 13,590,000. I thought I had my glasses and I apologize. Gary Nix at 13,590,000. Then we have Marie at 14,013,846. And Elisa Castillo is at 14,583,000. You have Omid at 14,672,000. We have Gabriel Guerrero at 18,637,000. Okay, round of applause. Then we have Jim Sapula, ranked number 2. And 19,252,000. And our number 1 individual agent from January to July is David Ashar at $20,404,000 in production. What does that tell you? There's no excuses. There's agents that are rushing it, right? And we're still not at the end of the year. All these numbers are all going to change, right? So this should inspire all of us, you know, to go out there and do the activities that lead to these opportunities and production. So, are you all with me on this?
Yeah.
Does that impress you? Does that make you excited? Does that make you hungry? It sure does me. You know, to see these individuals and top teams in our office just crushing it in the South Bay. So it just takes momentum and just going out there and making chaos at the end. That's it. Go make some chaos, all right? You only need that one buyer, that one seller, that one investor, that one developer that's pushing you. All right. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Next slide, please. Take our upcoming events. All right, so we have our KW South Bay Headshot Thursday, August 10th, 11:30. That is tomorrow. That's actually my sister's birthday too. Thank you. $55, 10-minute session, 1 look, 1 location, 3 edits. Yeah, please make sure you sign up and the link to RSVP. And obviously that's Cheyenne as our headshot professional. All right, next slide. All right, building 100,000 pipeline through Thursday, August 10th at 2:30 in person with Carlos here in the training room. Obviously, bring your laptop. All right, next slide. This Friday, Chris Baker will be interviewing Jeff Sturman from the Sturman Group. And this is this Friday, 8 o'clock to 8:30. Please jump on that call on the Producers Club. Next slide. Don't forget this Saturday, who's coming and participating? Let's raise our hands. Yes. Our KW South Bay potluck and picnic, Saturday, August 12th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Hickory Park. 2850 West 230. It's right in the adjacent of this area, just north of us where the Costco. There's a little community there. There's where the Hickory Park is. RSVP potluck sign up with Natalie and come and join. I'm super excited because we're going to be playing flag football. Yeah. Yeah. What's flag football?
Never.
Who doesn't know what flag football is?
I think most.
Well, you know football, right?
Yeah.
So instead of tackling, because you know us guys love to tackle, right? We don't tackle because a lot of us are on the older category. So you wear like a belt and it has flags.
Oh.
Okay. So flag football is basically you have these flags on the side of you. You may have one in the back, two on one side and the other side.
Oh.
So instead of tackling someone, like the quarterback or the person that has the ball, you're gonna pull one of the flags. So if you pull one of the flags, that's basically you're tackling in that, right?
We need some more people to sign up for the teams.
Absolutely, yeah.
I was supposed to plug that, but thanks for not calling that.
Well, I'm still gonna call you up. So if you're interested in participating, is it co-ed?
It's co-ed,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a.
The ladies-
Teams, 5-man teams.
Ladies.
The
you
winning team gets a reduction of the cap. Oh, wait, no, that's not. Sorry, I got that wrong. It's if you don't play, your cap increases.
So there you go. So it's co-ed. So everyone is able to participate. Again, it's not gonna be that crazy, but it's gonna be fun and exciting. So again, this Saturday, August 12th, lunch will be from 11:30 and 1 o'clock. So looking forward to seeing all of you if you cannot join us this Saturday. Okay, next slide. The art of negotiating, learn how to successfully negotiate using my 10 proving tactics. That's on Monday, August 14th, 11 a.m. I'll be here at the KW training room, open to all agents and I guess brokerages too. So Christina Blue and the Hue and Blue will be spearheading this training. Next slide. Okay, any listing pitches, buyer needs and wants coming soon that you'd like to bring to the table? Yes. Yeah, please. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Eric, I'm just in the office.
Yes.
Hey, if you guys get a chance, I got a townhome, no Torrance, 975, 3-bed, 2.5 bath with a family room, about 1,900 square feet. Has a really nice office downstairs that could be used for like a business or something. It's a popular listing now, we gotta get the tenants out before we put it on the market. So that's one, and then I have a mobile home out of the area in Monte.
I like how you said it, El Monte.
Right. Three-bed, 2-bath mobile home. Monte is sometimes actually more expensive. It's a nice park, guys. Go to the pool and stuff. You guys have anybody, some people it's a good, between renting, owning a home, so. And I might list a couple more in that park, so that's. 150
Wait, what did it?
for the mobile home, yeah, so mobile, yeah,
Should I get?
2055 was a lot of space, but it's a really nice park. Yeah. So that's what I got there.
Eric, what's the Instagram link?
Yeah, let's connect on Instagram. I do a lot of content. All right, I guess get it later on more specific. I'm Eric Lowndes. I mean, just like that. So we'll connect, guys. All right. Looking forward to working with you guys.
Yeah.
My listing had a lot of it. What do you mean?
And I just joined real estate like 45 years ago. Anyway, I had this listing, it's 160 acres. It's in Agawanga. It's got 80 acres plus, got a solar airstrip on it. You have a client that wants to pick this up, to go to Torrance Airport. Fly there, look at the ILS and just land right on the property and sell it.
So where then?
But the whole thing is, it was producing like, there was 5 wells. And there used to be a water company called Aquafair. So he had a hydrologist out there the last 2 weeks and a geologist over there. And they increased the water output on all 5 wells, 250 gallons a minute. So now it becomes an income producing property. So I relisted it under business opportunities today in the MLS because I have it in residential. Agawanga, there's not too many people can afford 3.395 that live there, but investors It's 160 acres. It has a 2-bedroom house, one bath, and it has 2 trailers on it that are a prefab. They're all brand new and clean, really, really nice. And there's a barn, and there's roads up in the whole property, so you can get access to it. Plus, there's a landing strip. 80 acres is flat. You could build winery, olive oil company. You do a bunch of things with it. So it's back on. Still a 3395 is business opportunity. The thing is, you know, there's a lot of people that own water companies, like Shaquille O'Neal just bought one in Scotland, Arizona. So there's a lot of, you just throw it out there that you have a potential place that will have mountain spring water. And this water is really good. I've tried this water before. It's one of the best bottled water, spring waters I've ever tasted. So,
Which brand?
pardon me?
Which brand?
It was called Aquafair. It's not on the market anymore. My client's 80 years old. It's too old to start bottling water. And, you know, we still have all the, we have the water tanks, we have the facilities. He just shut down the business 5 years ago because he had health problems. And now he just wants to sell the whole entire property, and it's a business opportunity too, to get the business running again. But there's a whole another 80 acres you can go agricultural, or, and they actually change into camping grounds or R1. There's a bunch of things you could do with it. So
So how far is from here?
it's go past Pachanga. It's like 10 minutes past Pachanga, right past Temecula. So that's where I want to go. So that's actually on the other side of the mountain. Palm Springs here, you got that big mountain. Agawam and Pachanga are right on the other side of the mountain. So it's about 2-hour drive. So, but I don't know, talk to your people, and you never know. Never know, so maybe want to work.
Awesome, Jim. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Thanks, Jim. Going once, going twice. All right, well, that concludes our team meeting. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all. You guys are awesome. Thank you for coming in. And then we'll see you on the next. And